So let's talk about the Rosary, specifically the daily Rosary and the fruits that it can bear in our lives. So let's go. We are going to talk about specifically the daily Rosary because it's a really hard thing to kind of get in the habit of, but once you're in the habit of it, it's really beautiful, and it can provide a lot of different fruits in your life, whether it's seeing the fruits of the promises that Our Lady made, the 15 promises of the Rosary, whether it's an increase in joy or an increase in patience in your life or an increase in hospitality, like whatever that is, there are tons of different fruits that Our Lady can give to those who have a relationship with her in a faithful, daily, consistent Rosary. But today, I'm going to talk about one specific fruit that I have noticed in seasons of my life when I'm regularly praying the daily Rosary. This is just all over the place. Originally, I was going to try to do like 3 fruits of a daily Rosary in this video, but honestly, it all boils down to this one. This is huge in my life. In seasons where I prioritize a daily Rosary, I just have a huge increase in awareness in my life. So awareness is kind of a hard thing to describe, but awareness is just kind of knowing what's going on around you. And as human beings, like as we grow older, we increase in awareness. Like little kids aren't quite as self-aware or as others aware or as environment aware as they should be. And as they grow older, they grow in awareness. And I think it's the same way for us in the spiritual life. When we commit to this relationship of a daily Rosary with the Blessed Mother, she has such abundant blessings for those who pray the Rosary. And like I said, this may not be every single person's experience, but in my experience, the most noticeable grace in my life when I'm praying a daily Rosary is an increased awareness. She just gives me a lot of insight into who I am, what's going on in the world around me, what's going on in my relationships. I think that if we know generally what awareness is now, it's having a sensitivity and openness, a knowledge of the things around you or within you. Now that we know what awareness is, we can move into talking about the 3 areas of my life where I've seen an increased awareness through praying the daily Rosary. Area number 1 is an awareness of sin. So knowing what's going on kind of in our own hearts and in our own lives, the way that we are failing, seems like a super simple thing, but it's actually not. And a lot of times we are blind to the ways that we hurt others or the ways that we hurt ourselves. Some of them are really obvious, like, you break one of the 10 commandments, you know that you broke it. But some of them are a little more subtle, or maybe they're not even ways that we actually sinned, but maybe they're ways that we could have responded better to the grace of God in our lives, but we didn't. And I have found through praying a daily Rosary in these seasons where I'm praying it, Mary just gives me an awareness and a knowledge of my own heart that I didn't have before. Not that I know everything, not that I know entirely what's going on, not that everything's perfect, but just she gives me this increased awareness of ways that I have failed. The second aspect of increased awareness that I see in seasons of my life when I'm praying a daily Rosary is an awareness of grace, kind of like an awareness of God's actions in my life, an awareness of God's hand in my life, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, grace is a free gift from God that we receive from Him, and it can be all the way from huge things like Scripture is such a gift from God, the church is such a gift from God, holy people in our lives, the saints to inspire us, the sacraments, whatever it is, huge things like that. We can have an increase in appreciation for them, an increased awareness of the good that they are in our lives and the gift that they are from the Lord, all the way down to maybe the littler things, like if your mom cooks your favorite meal for dinner without knowing that you've had a bad day, or little comforts that the Lord gives us, little gifts that the Lord gives us during our day that we can either cast aside as a random coincidence, or sometimes when I'm praying the Rosary, I just think that Mary gives me an appreciation for them and an awareness that they are a gift from the Lord. They are a grace from the Lord, and they are Him intervening in my life to show me that He loves me and to make me into a saint. The third aspect of awareness in my life that Mary kind of gives me when I'm praying a daily Rosary is awareness of the big picture. So what is the big picture? What is the big picture that Mary can make us aware of? The big picture is that God, who is love, made us for Himself. The world isn't our home, as St. Therese says, the world is our ship and not our home. And we were made to be saints. We were made to be holy ourselves, more integral, more perfect than we are right now. And we are made to be in heaven with the Lord for all of eternity, existing in his trinity of love with him. So that's the big picture. The big picture is that we are meant to be saints, and we are meant to be loved by God and to love him in return. And in this world, it's super easy to get sucked into Instagram. It's super easy to get sucked into work. It's super easy to get sucked into both bad and good and neutral things. But ultimately, we need to keep the big picture in mind. Am I acting like a saint today? Am I doing what the Lord has told me to do today? Am I loving God, and am I allowing him the space to love me and tell me that he loves me in return? So if that's the big picture, then Mary can just give us an increased awareness of that. And I see her do that very routinely in my life. It's so much easier when I'm praying the daily rosary to know that that's what I'm made for. And I just have little reminders in my head throughout the day. And it's not like I see, the Virgin Mary, like she's appearing to me like she did at Lourdes. That would be amazing, but that doesn't happen. But it's just little things that remind me of what I am made for, who I am made for, and who loves me. And I think that that is what I mean when I say that the Lord can increase our awareness through the rosary. He can just show us, he can show us a lot of things better, but he can just give us an increased awareness and an increased knowledge and appreciation of the things around us and within us. Whether it's our failings and sins, he can make us more aware of them through the Virgin Mary's intercession through the daily rosary. He can make us aware of grace and his hand in our lives, and also the big picture, that we're meant to be saints, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. And he can just give us little reminders of that, because it's easy to forget. So, all in all, to take one thing away from this video, it's that the rosary is so good. Mary wants to pour out so many blessings to our world through the rosary, and she said so in all of her apparitions. Mary wants to do so much good through the rosary, and it's easy to think of it as monotonous or as lame or as something that we just don't want to put time into because it takes 15 minutes. But really, if we put the time into it, the Blessed Mother wants to bless that time, and she can give us so many fruits through the daily rosary. So again, if you take anything away from this video, be inspired. Go pray a rosary today. Go talk to the Blessed Mother today and ask her to make you more like her son. Ask her to let you see her son in the people around you, whether it's your spouse or your siblings or your roommates or your classmates, whatever it is. Mary can help us see her son better. And ultimately, that's what this awareness that I'm talking about is all about. Let Mary increase your awareness of her son's work in your life. So, go be saints. God bless you. After all of this talk about the beauty of the rosary and the fruits that our Blessed Mother wants to bestow on us through it, it would be horribly remiss to not talk about practically tips to fit the rosary into our lives every single day. But we don't really have time for that because this video is already too long. So next week, I'm going to be coming out with a practical tips on praying the rosary daily. So keep an eye out for that. It's coming soon. If you're watching this not in August of 2020, then you can just go click on it